Love, aka BeckyDenise. It is Sunday, 10 p.m., October 16th. I wanted to make a video in regards to a couple of the questions that I've gotten on my last video pertaining to adjusting and different things like that. One of the questions that I got, and I told her I was going to make a video about it, and I just wanted to go ahead and get it done, from Lisha's Life. She said, I just accepted a position as a catastrophe adjuster. As a woman in the field, how safe did you feel traveling? That's a great question. I've always felt pretty safe traveling unless I broke my routine. Okay, I'm 4'11", and I'm sure I weighed about 15-20 pounds lighter, you know, back in the day when I was traveling. But I'll tell you some of my tips and tricks on traveling. On working out of town and having to, get hotels or Airbnbs or anything like that. Disclaimer, this is my experience and how I feel about traveling and working. Even before I became a claims adjuster, I was a traveling district sales manager for a wireless company. So I would have to travel to manage my stores, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Shreveport, Bossier City area, Monroe. And I never had a problem. Never, not once had a problem. There was only one time I felt unsafe as an adjuster traveling, and that's because I broke my routine. Nothing happened, okay? So my routine is to typically show up hours in advance. I've already done my research at home, read reviews, hotel reviews, different things like that. Personally, I never felt safe traveling by myself in an Airbnb. That's just me. I never wanted to do that. I wanted to be at a hotel, typically a hotel where where you register and you get points and you're like a value customer, something like that. Typically those types of hotels. I would always arrive a couple hours earlier just to scope out the hotels, scope out the area, because everything is not what it always seems online. You'll pull up a hotel online, it's looking immaculate, but then when you pull up, it's everything but, right? So I would scope them out and ride around the area. Y'all know I will always find me somebody do my laundry, a laundromat that does the laundry, and you pay by the pound. I always scope that out. And then just read reviews, see what's going on at the hotel, see what kind of people going in and out, see what it looks like. If it's in an area that I deem different, because we know that anything can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be the best area, the worst area, but it's gonna at least look the part, especially if I'm traveling by myself. So then when I do that, I get checked in, check my hotel room for cameras. I just check, right? I check under the bed. Most of them though, where I tend to stay, you can't even get under the bed. It's like, I just check everything. I check for everything. So once I do that, I never put my luggage on the floor. I always put it on the rack or in the closet. So one thing I do is when I go to work, I always let my husband and my children know where I am. They know my schedule. They know if my schedule changes. They know if I go to lunch with co-workers. They know everything. They will never say that, oh, she was at lunch with such as, she went to lunch, who did she go to lunch with, That'll never happen. They always know who I'm going to lunch with. If I'm riding with somebody, our family gonna get a group text, this is who I'm riding with, and this is the description of the car. So I just do stuff like that. And 9 times out of 10, my kids group chat going off with my girls. But 9 times out of 10, if somebody gonna know where I am, if I don't have my earbud in my ear and I'm on the phone with my husband, because we're on the phone all the time. So that's one thing. Another thing is, if I get off and get to my room, I don't go back out. I don't hang in the bar area. I don't hang downstairs. Now, I did this one time. I was in Dallas and I met a friend. We went to college together in New Orleans, and she lived in the area, and she came and we hung out till about 11 p.m. I was so spooked when I got to my room, and it was me, because I had broken my routine. I went to my room, I had a few drinks, I went to my room. I turned on every light in the room. I had the TV going, I slept fully dressed, like I had spooked the shit out of myself, you know, by breaking my routine. And that I really can say that's the only time after 15 years or so of having to travel for work that I felt that way. And it was only because I broke the routine. It was only because I broke the routine. Because the night before I was fine. But that second night, I had spooked myself. So I never hang out in the lobby. I never hang out at the bar. Once I'm in for the evening, I'm in. At the time, on my prior deployments, if I worked out in my room. Did my little exercises in my room. Typically, I would get food on my lunch break. That way, if I wanted to bring it, you know, with me once I go in, I have it with me. I never invite anyone into my room, and I never went into anyone's room. I have gotten like the suites with one of my good adjuster friends from Texas. In Birmingham, we got the suites. I think it was the Marriott suites, but we had our own separate rooms, and you know, she was maybe a couple years older than me. We really clicked, and I trusted her. She rented a car. I told her to take it back, and she rode with me back and forth to work, and it just worked out like that. I typically stay by myself, but with her, that was my first time rooming with somebody, and it was pretty cool to have that company there, you know, and not be alone on your deployment. So those are some of the ways that when I'm traveling as a desk adjuster to my deployments, how I remain safe and feel safe. Now, I've only had one field position, and that was during the flood in Louisiana in Baton Rouge, where I had to go to homes and survey for flood damages, issue payments or referrals. That was it. But what I did to remain safe was, again, I always had my earbud in my ear. Always on the phone with somebody. I know people don't have people that they could be on the phone with like that, but I do. My husband, you know, works for himself, and he's always available for me. When I got out of my car, I would always pull up, look around, check in as soon as I pull up, get out, go straight to the house. I never went out, you know, after like 4 p.m. I never went out before 8 a.m. If I saw a group of people standing around that I didn't feel comfortable with, I would just push it back to later in the week and say, hey, well, you know, 4 p.m. didn't look good on this one. I'll come back to this one at 10 a.m. So just different things like that. And always listen to your gut. If I'm somewhere and my gut tell me, I don't second guess my gut, because my intuition takes care of me, and I always follow my intuition. Always. I never say, oh, you're just tripping or anything like that. I just always follow my intuition. And I've been safe. I've never heard of anything happening to anyone on a deployment. So that's my tidbit on that. Just follow your intuition. Know not to, you know, because we don't know these cities and towns and stuff that we go to. So just mind your business and follow your intuition, and then just be smart, especially as women. I share my location with my family, and like I said, they know everything. If my supervisor say, hey, Becky, you want to go out to lunch? Immediately, if I say, of course, I let my husband know, hey, babe, I'm going out to lunch with such and she's such, and I'm riding with her, or I'm following her, or what have you. Or more than likely it's her. If it's a him, it's going to be a group of us, a group of us going out together. And a lot of times I'll do that in front of like whoever, I'll be like, hey babe, yeah, I'm going to dinner with such and such, I'm going to lunch with such and such, just so somebody will always know where I am, and they already know if they don't hear from me, something wrong. Something is wrong, because I'm very, very, very aware and try to make the best decisions to remain safe. Okay, so I have a question. Can you do a video about the different pay or fee schedules? The fee schedules and pay are all over the place. They typically are anyway, but there's some huge gaps in the offers that's being made for certain carriers. I know some of my mentees that got deployed with one carrier, with one IA firm for this particular carrier, and was getting this amount a month, $24 to $28 an hour. And then I have mentees that's getting deployed with another IA firm for the same carrier that's making $34 to $40 an hour. So it's all over the place. I feel like just depending on what your responsibilities are, 24 is kind of lowballing unless you're just doing FNOLs, and that's the first notice of loss type calls. But if you're actually working files, working a claim, that's pretty low, and that's for auto. For property, I'm seeing upwards of $30 an hour based on the firm, upwards of $45, $50 an hour. I actually got offered one for $50 an hour in Daytona Beach, I think they wanted me to come to. But yeah, so those fee schedules of pay rates are inside desk adjusters, property or auto. Now with the fee schedules for the field adjusters, those fee schedules, they vary as well, and they are typically paid on the amount of the loss. So you could say from $0 to $1,000, they'll probably get $200 for inspecting the home. And these are just random rates. If the loss is like $10,000 to $50,000, they'll probably get $550, and so on and so forth. And that's how the field adjusters tend to make really good money, because if they got a loss, $100,000 loss, they'll probably be making $10,000 just on that one inspection. And that's just a guesstimate, because I'm not a field adjuster, but I do have access to some of their fee schedules. Sometimes they'll come across from some of my mentees, and then from some of my buddies that's out in the field. So I hope that helps, but that's typically how it goes. Have you ever been a staff adjuster or staff CAT adjuster? If so, can you make a video about your experience? Also, I sent an email a few weeks ago, not sure if you received it. I had to let go of my virtual assistant, so if there's emails out there I just hadn't completed, going back, I am going back. I do a few a day. So I've never been a staff CAT adjuster, but I have been a staff auto adjuster and property adjuster, not as a CAT adjuster. I've always done TPAs or adjusting firms as a CAT adjuster and independent adjuster. My experience, I did not like being a staff adjuster. I didn't like it, and that's only because you have to think about my background. I came from wireless, right? And in wireless, I may have had a desk when I initially got into it, but we were able to walk around, move around. We could even go out and hand out flyers in the community, different things like that. As a manager, I was free to come and go into my stores as I wanted to. As a area manager, I would go from store to store to store, just able to move around. As a district sales manager, I would go from city to city to city to visit my stores. So as a staff adjuster, you are sitting there like a call center, and for the most part, in a call center environment, just working at your desk, and that drove me crazy. I did not like it, right? I don't like the office politics, just none of that. So I never liked it. I felt like a caged rat. Never liked it. Never, never, never. But as a CAT adjuster, I did, because it was fast paced. Even if we had to travel and we were in I was only in like a call center environment one time in Atlanta, but for the most part, we were just like sitting at tables, just openly working and chatting with each other, you know, working through the claims and stuff like that. And then for the most part, since 2015, I've been able to go, maybe be away from home 3 weeks to a month, but then I was able to always come home before COVID and finish up my deployments. I was blessed in that area of CAT adjusting, and I realized that I'm few and far between because a lot of people didn't have that experience. I always had the experience to be able to come home as a property CAT adjuster. And so not only that, I'm older and I don't necessarily need the benefits or, you know, anything like that, because my husband owns his own business as well, and so we pay for our benefits ourselves, right? Like our health insurance and stuff like that. So I don't necessarily need the health insurance or the retirement or anything like that. So other than that, you know, what I like about CAT is I have the opportunity to, rather than work, you know, 12 months a year and make $60,000, I can work 6 months a year and make that same $60,000 plus. So that's why being a CAT adjuster or an IA works for me. And that's why, you know, I don't want to be a staff adjuster. Will I ever do it again? I'm not going to say I wouldn't. I don't plan on it because I'm opening my school, BeckyDenise Mentorship and Adjuster Academy. So I don't plan on it, but it's not to say that I wouldn't if I had to. I would do what I had to do. I'm going to drop some more information about my upcoming academy, my upcoming first course. I've only been approved in the state of Louisiana. I will be adding more states later, and I'm so excited about it. And not only that, I'm going to be offering additional courses like how to work a claim and policy interpretation, policy lingo. We'll go through all that. I'm gonna be offering all those things. I'm just getting my website updated and really getting things in line so we can have this jump off in January. So I'm your girl BeckyDenise. I thank you so much for watching and supporting and commenting and liking my channel. I'm gonna bring you guys some more goodies, especially when this assignment ends. So please comment, like, share, subscribe. And if you have any additional questions or anything you want me to answer, just drop them in the comments below and I'll get to them. All right, well, thank you so much for watching. I'm anchored by love. What are you anchored by? Have a good night.